Our journey begins in a quaint town in Austria, 1889, where a young boy named Adolf Hitler is dreaming of an artistic future. The picturesque town of Braunau am Inn, nestled between the Inn River and the border of Germany, was the backdrop for his youthful aspirations. Young Adolf, the son of a stern civil servant, found solace in sketching, dreaming of a life far removed from the humdrum of his provincial upbringing. In his heart, Hitler carried a burning desire to create, to capture the world on canvas. As a teenager, he set his sights on the prestigious Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, dreaming of a life steeped in creativity. But the world had other plans. His application was rejected not once, but twice. The sting of rejection, coupled with the death of his parents, cast long shadows over his youthful optimism. Yet Vienna, the city that had rejected his artistic dreams, became the crucible of his ideology. It was a city teeming with political unrest, a melting pot of ideologies, a battleground of conflicting beliefs. The young artist was drawn into the vortex, his thoughts shaped by the voices echoing through the city's grand boulevards. The seeds of Hitler's extremist views were sown in the tumultuous soil of Vienna. His political consciousness was awakened. His path towards extremism, though still far off, had begun to take shape. He was no longer just an aspiring artist. He was a man grappling with ideas that would shake the world to its core. Little did young Adolf know, his dreams of artistry would soon be replaced by a thirst for power. Hitler's entry into politics was as unremarkable as any, yet his ambition was anything but ordinary. The story of his rise within the Nazi Party is one marked by a relentless pursuit of power and a cunning ability to manipulate the masses. In the tumultuous political landscape of post-World War I Germany, Hitler found his calling. He joined the German Workers' Party, a group as obscure as it was extreme. Yet, within a short span of time, he would transform this group into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the infamous Nazi Party, with himself at its helm. Hitler's rise was not just a product of his ambition, but also his understanding of the power of propaganda. He recognized early on that controlling the narrative was key to amassing power. With his fiery speeches, he painted vivid pictures of a glorious future, a future free of the economic hardships and political humiliation that had befallen post-war Germany. His charismatic appeal was another crucial factor. Hitler possessed an uncanny ability to connect with his audience, to tap into their fears and hopes. He made them believe in a cause greater than themselves, a cause that promised to restore Germany's lost pride and glory. He made them believe in him. Yet, while Hitler was busy crafting this public image of a visionary leader, a savior of Germany, a sinister plan was taking form behind the scenes. He was not just building a political party, but a war machine. He was not just promising a better future, but laying the groundwork for one of the darkest chapters in human history. Behind the charismatic facade, a sinister plan was taking form. The stage was set for a reign of terror that would plunge the world into an abyss from which it would take years to emerge. While Hitler's public life was under constant scrutiny, his private life remained a mystery to many. Behind the high walls and guarded doors, the Führer of the Third Reich navigated a complex maze of personal relationships. Central to this was Eva Braun, a woman whose existence was largely hidden from the world. Yet, she was a constant presence in Hitler's life. Their love story, if we can call it that, was a complicated one. It was a tale of devotion, secrecy, and ultimately tragedy. Eva, an ordinary girl, found herself in an extraordinary situation, deeply entwined with one of history's most notorious figures. But Eva Braun wasn't the only person who had a personal relationship with Hitler. His inner circle, a cohort of loyal followers, played pivotal roles in his life and regime. Among them were men like Heinrich Himmler, the architect of the Holocaust, and Joseph Goebbels, the master of Nazi propaganda. Both were not only key figures in his political machine, but also confidants in his private life. Yet despite their loyalty, Hitler's relationships with these men were fraught with tension and paranoia. As the war progressed, the lines between friend and foe blurred, and trust became a scarce commodity. Each of these relationships added a new layer to Hitler's complex persona, revealing a side of him that the public never saw. In the end, it's these personal relationships that give us a deeper understanding of Hitler, the man behind the dictator. They show us that beneath the facade of power and control, there were human emotions, vulnerabilities, and contradictions. Each one of Hitler's confidants had their own untold stories, buried deep within the annals of history. These stories provide a glimpse into Hitler's private life, a world that was as complex and tumultuous as the era he presided over. With Hitler at its helm, the world plunged into an era of unimaginable horror. This dark chapter in history, the Reign of Terror, saw crimes against humanity committed on a scale never before witnessed. Beyond the well-documented horrors of the Holocaust, Hitler's reign was marked by lesser-known atrocities that were no less chilling. The T4 euthanasia program, for instance, was a sinister plan devised under the guise of mercy. It targeted those deemed unfit or unworthy of life by the Nazi regime, including the mentally and physically disabled. Thousands were systematically murdered, their lives extinguished in the name of racial purity. Yet, the Reign of Terror reached far beyond Germany's borders. In occupied Poland, Hitler's plans for a German living space resulted in the displacement, suffering, and death of millions of Poles. Whole villages were razed, their inhabitants brutally murdered or forced into hard labor. The landscape of Eastern Europe was forever scarred by these acts of ruthless, ethnic cleansing. Across the English Channel, Britain too felt the wrath of Hitler's terror. The Blitz, a sustained bombing campaign against the United Kingdom, left cities in ruins and lives in tatters. The aim was not only to cripple Britain's infrastructure and morale, but also to terrorize its civilians, making them feel the chilling reach of Hitler's power. In the midst of this reign of terror, Hitler also orchestrated the Night of the Long Knives, a bloody purge that eliminated potential threats within his own ranks. It was a chilling demonstration of Hitler's determination to consolidate his power, regardless of the cost. The unseen horrors of Hitler's reign left an indelible mark on the pages of history. They serve as a stark reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink under the sway of a single, ruthless dictator. As the tide of war turned against him, Hitler's once formidable empire began to crumble. In the final act of this tragic play, we find ourselves descending into the depths of the Führer bunker. This subterranean lair, buried beneath the Chancellery in Berlin, became the final stronghold of a rapidly disintegrating regime. Overhead, the city was being pummeled into oblivion, while beneath, a different sort of chaos was brewing. The atmosphere was heavy with desperation. The bunker's inhabitants, once the most powerful individuals in Germany, were now trapped like rats in a sinking ship. The walls, thick with tension, echoed with hushed whispers of defeat and the deafening silence of despair. Among those present was Hitler himself, a man who once held the world in his iron grip, now cornered and vulnerable. His aura of invincibility was shattered, revealing a mere mortal, riddled with paranoia and consumed by the fear of the inevitable. There were others too, individuals whose stories often go untold. Men and women who, despite the impending doom, exhibited a defiant loyalty that bordered on fanaticism. Their actions, while morally questionable, paint a vivid picture of the sheer power of Hitler's influence. And then, there were those who saw the writing on the wall. They recognized the futility of their situation and opted for betrayal over blind allegiance. In the shadows of the bunker, secret plots were hatched, alliances were broken, and the seeds of treachery were sown. The final days of Hitler's life were a maelstrom of chaos and confusion. Amidst this turmoil, the dictator made one of his final and most controversial decisions: his suicide. But even this act, intended to be his final control over his own narrative, was shrouded in mystery. In the midst of chaos, the final moments of a dictator's life were shrouded in uncertainty. The demise of Hitler, much like his life, remains a subject of intense scrutiny and debate, a testament to the enduring influence of history's most infamous figure. Long after his demise, Hitler's legacy continues to cast a long shadow over history. This shadow, dark and daunting, has sparked ongoing debates and controversies that ripple through time, affecting our perception of the past and shaping our understanding of the present. On one hand, there's no denying the chilling reality of Hitler's regime. The monstrous atrocities, the inhuman acts of cruelty, the ruthless pursuit of power. These are facts that stand as stark reminders of a chapter we must never forget or repeat. Historians and scholars tirelessly delve into this era, unearthing new evidence and perspectives that help us grapple with the enormity of Hitler's actions. Yet, on the other hand, we face a barrage of conspiracy theories that suggest an alternative fate for Hitler. Did he really perish in his bunker as widely accepted, or did he manage to escape, living out his days in secret? These theories, though largely debunked by credible sources, persist in popular culture, adding an aura of mystery and intrigue to an already contentious figure. These debates and controversies around Hitler's legacy serve as a testament to the lingering impact of his reign. They force us to confront uncomfortable truths, challenge our assumptions, and question how such darkness could have arisen in the first place. They remind us that history is not just a collection of facts, but a complex tapestry woven from a multitude of narratives, each with its own shades of truth and interpretation. As we continue to uncover Hitler's lesser-known stories, we confront the dark past and its implications for our present and future. We must remember, learn, and strive to understand, for in the shadows of the past, we find the light to guide our way forward.